feeling you? No. That nigga a munch. Nigga eat it, he ate it for lunch. Bitch, on my body, I get what I want. Like, you thought I was feeling you? That nigga a munch. Nigga eat it, he ate it for lunch. Bitch, on my body, I get what I want.
We got Marvel Studios X-Men 2028, Everything We Know by New Rockstars. Let's get into it.
Welcome back to New Rockstars. I'm Eric Voss, and Marvel Studios'
fuck happened,
X-Men
man?
film appears to be moving forward with
There
Thunderbolts
we go.
director Jake Schreier in talks to direct this
Great
first
director.
MCU X-Men movie, according to Deadline. I'm going to break down everything we know about this upcoming X-Men film, how soon it's coming, and how exactly Marvel Studios is going to bring us into the mutant saga following Avengers Doomsday and Secret Wars. And if you loved Thunderbolts and its ending as much as I did, grab which Line reported, following the successful launch of Thunderbolts, director Jake Schreier might already have his sights set on the next big Marvel Studios project. As sources tell Deadline, he is in early talks to direct the studio's new X-Men movie. It is unknown where things...
The question is, though, question is it going to be individual X-Men movies, like how they did for like the to lead up to the Avengers? Are we gonna? Oh no, you really can't do that. You really can't. Because I feel like it's just so. No, they did it with the Guardians. You know, they did it with Guardians. They could do it again. I don't know what the lineup is gonna be because the X-Men has had like so many people be a stuff. Of course, you're gonna have a Wolverine. Are they gonna cast someone as a new Wolverine? Or they're gonna keep Hugh Jackman. I would assume they're gonna cast a new Wolverine because so it'd be a younger team. I would assume it is a younger team. Um, the question is, will it take place within our canon universe? Is it another universe? Like, well, no, it's another universe. No. We don't know yet because it's our canon universe where we haven't heard anything about X-Men or mutants. Technically, they said there's enhanced, and that was in Age of Ultron. That was supposed to be a little thingy about it because they couldn't say mutants at the time because Sony owned the rights. So there's our canon timeline where they've been hinted at, right? And Wanda is supposed to be a mutant, and so is thingy. So the X-Men could be so when they make the X-Men, it could be from our canon universe. It could be a separate universe, like how it is with Fantastic Four, and then it could just be yeah, it's one of those two. Because we spoiler for if you didn't see the Marvels, which if you didn't see the Marvels, I don't blame you. The movie wasn't all that good, but the post credit scene was the post credit scene was the post credit scene. It was one of those two. No. Monica Rambeau goes through a dimension thingy and ends up with one of the Beast actors. I think the first one ends up with him, and there's also for the Doomsday thing they said that the original Professor X, the original Magneto, I'm blanking out on their names. We saw in the Thunderbolts one that uh Nightcrawler's coming back. They've told us that Cyclops is coming back. I believe Jean Grey's coming back as well. So like, and all of that took place in the Fox timeline, but Loki. But Deadpool kind of made it seem as if the Fox timeline is dead and that's not even a thing anymore. So, kind of a lot to do.
stand in the deal-making
Kind of a
process,
lot
but
to do.
insiders say that following a meeting last week, Schreier looks to be the top choice to take on one of the studio's most anticipated projects. Michael Leslie penned the script with Marvel Studios president Kevin Feige producing. The studio has been taking its time in finding the right person to take over directing duties and has made it clear it doesn't want to rush the process, similar to how it handled pitches from potential writing candidates last year. After months of meetings, momentum started to favor Schreier when early reactions to Thunderbolts began to trickle out about a return to form for Marvel Studios. The film opened with an impressive 162 million global take, as well as some of the best reviews in years for Marvel. Marvel and Schreier had an
Damn,
incredible experience working together on Thunderbolts, a film
bro, he did his shit. He did his shit. Becoming Marvel's best reviewed film since Spider-Man No Way Home that's December of 2021, bro. So might as well just round it up. So since January of 2022, basically, Marvel really hasn't had a good film. Let's go and see what movies have dropped between that time. Um, all Marvel movies. Uh, let's put in release order. Okay. I just I don't want chronological because this is release, but okay, so since since No Way Home, understandable because this movie terrible, terrible. It was an okay movie. It was a movie. An amazing movie, beautiful way for what's going on my thing. The hell? Yo, what the fuck? Hold on. Okay, there we go. There we go. Cause my thing was frozen. My bad. There we go. Right. It was an amazing movie, a great send off for James Gunn. Great. It was a movie. Good movie. Looking back at it, mostly was built upon cameos. Not taken away from it though, but it was heavily built upon by cameos. It was a pretty good movie. Would have been better if they didn't tell us that the Red Hulk was gonna be in it. I feel like a lot more people probably would have seen it, you know. But it's like you tell me the Red Hulk is in, okay, cool, whatever. I don't really care. Like with this, we didn't like imagine if they just titled this The New Avengers. I mean, you're gonna go watch it because you want to know, like, okay, how did they become the New Avengers? But you don't really care, though, you know? In my opinion. In my opinion. In my opinion. Did they dead ass put like those thingamajiggas about? That's crazy. Anyways.
that has since won over critics and fans, becoming Marvel's best reviewed film since Spider-Man No Way Home in 2021. While that recent meeting sealed the deal, Marvel execs were well aware how much Schreier loved the X-Men comics, an early sign that he would ultimately get one of the meetings to pitch his vision of what a new X-Men movie would look like. So if you have seen Thunderbolts, there are a number of reasons why Jake Schreier taking on this project would be a good sign. His ability to frame his narratives around grounded human relationships and make us care about characters that might be overlooked as two-dimensional in the past, the exact way he shoots action and ways to showcase character strengths as well as their weaknesses.
Oh, we talking about we talking about X-Men. Hold on. Let me back up. Yes, sir. Y'all see the shirt? I'm trying to look at my thing. Sir, yeah, I see the shirt. Yes, sir. Greatest of all time. The Rabid Wolverine. Got this son of a bitch from don't remember either Hot Topic or Box Lunch.
Weaknesses, the way he bridges practical effects with smart VFX design, and most important to the studio, a certain X factor, which is really just a lack of ego and an ability to seamlessly integrate Kevin Feige's vision into the edit. And that has been harder and harder for auteur directors to reconcile with their own visions for these projects. Like, say what you will about the Russo brothers and how good of film directors they actually are, especially outside of Marvel Studios, but the reason Marvel keeps going back to them is that they really are good team players for the studio and know how to execute what Kevin Feige wants for these projects and how to deliver big time on fan expectations with well-structured movies with enough surprises that make these billion-dollar hits. I was also interested to read Deadline report that Michael Leslie penned the script, as in the draft of the script is done. This is not like other industry reports that we read that so-and-so is writing the script. Michael Leslie was reported to be the writer on this project back in May 2024 by, hey, look at that, Deadline's Justin Kroll. Kroll's source is probably the same exact person attached to this project for both of these updates on the story. But in July 2024, Kevin Feige told Gizmodo that this film would feature, quote, a mix of characters you've seen before and characters you've never seen before in film, and that his priority would be to introduce the soap opera.
Interesting. People we've seen, people we have. So this movie could be this movie could either be very good or it'll do bad. I'm really hoping it does good though. They do good.
Elements of the X-Men into the MCU. And then last November, Kevin Feige told Brazilian news outlet Omelete, when we were preparing for Avengers Endgame years ago, it was a matter of getting to the grand finale of our narrative and then having to start all over again after that. This time, heading into Secret Wars, we already know very well what the story is going to be up until then and after that. The X-Men are an important part of that future. Indeed, in a Wall Street Journal report on Marvel Studios' inner workings over the past several years, it was reported that Kevin Feige has a 10-year plan for Marvel's future.
10 years?
I actually go into that plan in this weekend's episode of Marvel Sneak Peek. And by the way, if you want some more bite-sized versions of our longer podcast episodes,
Avengers versus X-Men 2030. Interesting. But a 10-year plan? Oh, holy shit. He has faith in this. Like, he has faith.
Rockstars now has a 4th channel, New Rockstars Highlights. The years of that, of a 10-year plan, could really just be Kevin Feige's outline for his mutant saga. What the focal characters will be, how they come together into teams, who the villains are, how the mutants fit into the rest of the Marvel landscape. And the reason he calls it the soap opera elements is he imagines this not as like a series of independently ending storylines, but rather just an ongoing narrative and different realignments of characters. Like, I think we're gonna see a mutant saga where the villains don't die at the end of every movie, but the heroes having to live with them. Avengers Doomsday is coming May 1st, 2026, and Avengers Secret Wars is currently slated for May 7th, 2027. Hearing this news report right now makes me think that at a San Diego Comic-Con this July, Kevin Feige might confirm what the next big Marvel event film and release date will be after Secret Wars. And now I'm thinking it might be Marvel Studios X-Men coming May 5th, 2028. It is
May 5th?
possible, though, that they might have to save it for 2029. And the only reason I think that might be possible,
I love my birth month. Y'all will never know my birthday. I probably said it before in the past, but if you didn't hear it, I ain't gonna say it. If you know it, you know. If you don't, you don't. I love my birth month. Always just delivering with when it comes to this peak shit. Well, maybe not always, but just delivering.
possible is if Disney is having to wait a certain amount of time for legal reasons due to Dark Phoenix coming out in summer 2019. Like, there might be a mandatory 10-year delay. I'm not basing that off of any contract paperwork I've seen. There might just be something like that in there. But either 2028 or 2029, why so far away if it's 2025 right now? Well, the Deadline article noted that this report came mostly out of Jake Schreier turning down other offers to clear his schedule for the next couple years as this movie is being developed. Michael Leslie, before writing this X-Men film, wrote 2023's The Hunger Games: The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes.
Still never seen that shit. Never will.
This project, especially if this MCU X-Men film goes in the direction we theorize it's going in this weekend sneak peek episode. A film centered around the new X Mansion, a place that they could build for their Disney parks and you could go hang out in and ride in a ride-in, you know, like basically Avengers Campus's Hogwarts.
If you
Stories
feel like
centered
paying
around the point of view of
$100,000 to
young
get into that
mutants
shit.
and the generational divide with their mutant teachers as hostile government forces oppress them. We're always watching movies through three focus on the dog. Use human great organs, it sound thawing and dog for your convenient of Sunday. I know it's been hottest when Mr. Sinister is being eyed as the villain for use code New Rockstars. Now I know it's been rumored that Mr. Sinister is being eyed as the villain.
Mr. Sinister's a great villain.
X-Men cooks hottest when the villains are the rest of humanity, represented in figures like Henry Gyrick, Robert Kelly, Reverend William Stryker, which was the original version of William Stryker in the comics, unlike Brian Cox's version in X2, Colonel Stryker, and Bolivar Trask, and his inventions of the Sentinels, and groups like the FOH and
I feel like the first X-Men movie is gonna have them. I feel like they're gonna. Oh, I feel like because I don't think they're gonna set up Sentinels yet. They're gonna do something, right? Maybe they'll do. What's that group? The anti-mutant group from X-Men '97, right? Oh no, but they get their hands on Sentinel tech. Never mind. Yeah, I don't know. 'Cause I feel like they're not gonna set up Sentinels so early. They might have it be, but they wouldn't do Magneto so early. Well, it all just depends. It all just depends on how old these people are, right? How old is Professor Xavier? Is he a youngster, right? And are we gonna get something with that where the whole movie is like X-Men Origins? The rebrand. I don't know.
Operation OZT. I think approaching the conflict this way always gives characters like Magneto the most interesting things to do. It makes Magneto a more interesting character in a soap opera type story. And Kevin Feige saying characters you've seen before and characters you've never seen before in film suggests to me that part of this young cast of mutants will include some of the young mutants who have already been introduced in the MCU.
Yes,
or
sir,
will soon be.
ski.
Kamala Khan, Ms. Marvel, confirmed to be a mutant in Ms. Marvel. Billy Maximoff Wiccan, who we know to be a mutant.
Don't
being
care.
Introduced in Fantastic Four First Steps, Franklin Richards, the son of Reed Richards and Susan Storm, who is an Omega level mutant. So how do
Omega.
Marvel Studios X-Men from here? Like, there's no X-Mansion that we're aware of in the 616 universe of the MCU. And between now and then, we have Avengers Doomsday coming with returning X-Men actors from the Fox era. Well, a recent quote from Nightcrawler actor Alan Cumming might have given us a clue of the first steps of that path. Cumming last month told Today with Jenna and Friends that his return to play Nightcrawler and Doomsday came a bit easier this time since they've gotten the makeup process down from 5 hours to 90 minutes.
People are going to yell at me if
Damn.
I talk to you about returning to the Marvel world.
Yes.
That's
Holy
great.
shit,
Yeah.
that's a
Are
drop.
you excited?
Yes, / like amazed. It's 23 years since I was a superhero. There I am.
Oh my
And,
God. So are you going to wear all that stuff again?
Yeah, I've had some makeup tests already.
That's a long process.
Yeah,
right?
Well, actually, what's great about it was like 4.5 to 5 hours before, and now it was 90 minutes.
Is he Irish?
Because before, all the tattoos were done by hand because they hadn't decided on them before we started filming. And now they're on these little things that just stick on.
Oh, great.
It's a game changer.
Stickers.
So I'm going back to being a 60-year-old superhero.
Oh, great.
And everyone seems really lovely. And I go to London on Sunday.
It's starting right
it's
away.
It's in pre-production now. It starts shooting quite soon.
Now, that interview was
Sheesh.
April 4th, a week after Alan Cumming was announced in the March 26th Avengers Doomsday Chairs stream. And since then, Cumming was asked again about his work on Doomsday by BuzzFeed UK, and he said this.
I'm sort of learning these fights. I'm like, what? Who am I fighting with? And I said, you're hitting Pedro Pascal against the head.
Whoa! This suggests that Doomsday
That's
will
crazy.
include a fight scene between Reed Richards, Mr. Fantastic, Pedro Pascal, and Kurt Wagner, Nightcrawler, Alan Cumming, which I can only imagine being sick. Like, think about it. A super
trying to
smart,
think.
stretchy man of science versus a teleporting man of faith. who has to bamf through the brimstone dimension every time he wants to get around his stupid
True,
stretchy
true,
boots.
true.
A theory I pose in this week's Fantastic Four video is that the Fantastic Four ship that we see in the Thunderbolts post-credit scene might contain the Fantastic Four and the X-Men they saved from the threatened X-Men Earth 1005, including Nightcrawler, after they first go to
Okay.
that Earth. But their
Can't
first
crack my
encounter
back
with the X-Men in that
that way.
expansion, the
I don't
place
know
where we saw
why.
Beast and Monica Rambeau in the Marvel's post-credit scene, could go not that well and start with a Reed versus Kurt fight. I just like the idea of Doomsday's first act being set in the ruins of the X-Mansion from the 1005 universe, and Secret Wars could end by showing us the new X-Mansion of the 616 universe after Reed Richards' son, Franklin Richards, fixes the fractured world of Battleworld into a new, peaceful, livable, merged universe. That's kind of what Franklin Richards does at the end of the 2015 Secret Wars comic storyline. And so that way, Battleworld
Got
and
it,
Secret
got it,
Wars
got
could
it, got
introduce
it.
us to the new mutant lineup with new actors and a district of
I hope we get Dark Angel because I don't know why. Like when I saw Wolverine and the X-Men, which first of all, that's probably my favorite, probably my top 3 favorite Marvel animated shows. It's that, Iron Man Armored Adventures, and of course Spectacular Spider-Man. Yeah, that's number 3. It's Iron Man Armored Adventure. I know y'all probably expected Spectacular Spider-Man because everyone puts that up top there, but it's Iron Man Armored Adventures, Spectacular Spider-Man, Wolverine and the X-Men, and then everybody else.
Battleworld at first that we call a chunk of Westchester or Genosha or Krakoa from a different reality, with those mutants having lived their lives in that alternate reality. And then when Franklin reassembles everything into a restored 616 universe, those new actors could be the new X-Men lineup in the MCU, and then going forward could coexist on the mutant campus with known MCU
Got it,
mutants
got
like Billy
it.
Kaplan and Kamala Khan. Then
Yeah,
the
then.
multiverse saga of the past would be behind us, and we could just have 8 great years of mutant stories in films and series. And that post-multiverse X-Men story, I think, needs a director who knows how to prioritize ensemble chemistry and how sometimes just getting through the day can be an Avengers level conflict of its own. Now let's see if Jake Schreier could keep that job, because at one point we were getting a John Watts Fantastic Four and a Destin Daniel Cretton Avengers Kang Dynasty. Comment down below with your thoughts on
Yikes. Let's hope he keeps it because I'm trying to see some good shit. I've been a couples therapist for 30 years and I don't care.
領域展開無料空所